2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. Seltos P738 6423, MSRP 25325, K5 950 6883, MSRP 26860, PF 695. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2022 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. Depending on how long you've been around, you've likely known my name for 30 years. Perhaps for my 20 years as the morning show on Kix 106 as the Young and Elder Show, or my 15 years at Brian Elder Roofing. So obviously, my reputation means everything to me. One terrible customer experience could tarnish a third of a century of goodwill. My reputation for quality and strong relationships is our main focus. We're the highest certification, a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning. If you have a business or a commercial building, we're the highest certification for warranties with GAF and Mulehide products. We don't come at you in sales mode. If you got a problem, sometimes the solution is just to fix the problem. Call me right now. I'll come out and see you today. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't look...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Attention homeowners, energy efficiency regulations are changing in 2023. New heating and cooling systems may rise drastically in price. If your HVAC system is old or inefficient, now is the time to buy from Conway Services with outstanding financing options and savings up to $2,600. Conway Services is ready to save you money and give you comfort. Call 384-3511 or visit conwayservices.net to schedule your appointment today. License number 64210, 64365, EAS MS 19668.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Absolutely spectacular design, spared no expense.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
We welcome you back in. We close out hour number one. We are going to talk this Thursday night football game. Finally, a good one on paper, but I'm afraid also too many injuries on paper and in reality for it to end up being a good one. Last week certainly broke the trend of riding the under on Thursday night, Bryant Dacus. But I want to go back to Bill Bender and to some of the dialogue this week. I don't know how I've become the Brett Bielema fan club president in Memphis when I was so glad to see him leave Arkansas. Couldn't have ever dreamed it would be matched with somebody even worse. And I was telling you guys in the break that Brett Bielema has me blocked on Twitter.
It's incredible.
I proved it to you, didn't I?
You did. You sent Jay the picture, and we were both marveling at the fact that a Power 5 coach has you blocked on Twitter.
I don't think in on these airwaves I ever said anything particularly ugly about him. Just the job performance was dreadful. I did take a shot at him on a show I do quite often on Sunday mornings during football season in Little Rock. But there's no way he runs that account, is it?
No,
I mean,
I wouldn't think so. He doesn't have time to tweet. He's coaching.
Well, even back then. So I used the line from Animal House. I probably shouldn't. It's a little crude. I said, fat, dumb, and stupid's no way to go through life. And then I look up and I'm blocked by Brett Bielema.
He definitely didn't hear it. I'm sure someone heard it and relayed the message to him, and then he...
Oh, this guy's running you down.
That's
of course,
right.
Anything to them, and especially in the Brett Bielema years, they're big scoreboard, clam up, Hunter Henry heave. 4th and 25 in Oxford. That ended every debate.
He was one of the best tight ends. I mean, maybe he's getting beat now by the Georgia kid, but he was one of the best tight ends ever. I think one of the reasons why, Brett, you look back with a little more fondness of Brett Bielema than you used to, we were talking about it, is because people just don't run the football like that anymore. Yeah. I mean, the way that he runs the ground and pound, like you said, everyone's going 5 wide or spreading it out. People don't run the football the way Brett Bielema teams used to.
Okay, maybe I lied. Maybe we don't get to Thursday night football in this segment, but we will at some point. I swear, I'm thinking about this driving through Tyler, the home of Earl Campbell, Texas, the home of the original ground and pound running back, Billy Sims, Adrian Peterson. I mean, we could sit here until midnight naming Texas high school phenoms. All right, nobody's going to the wishbone. I'm not advocating that for anybody. But why won't somebody just go, okay, we don't have the personnel to get all the receivers and to get the little robot quarterback. We're going to the I formation.
Oh, why not? Ground and pound.
Especially in high school, though. How many high schools have guys that can sling it around the yard with 5 wide?
We only ran the ball at Houston when I was there, from at least sophomore year on.
Jay Morgan, nothing makes me more ill than to go to a high school game, especially early in the season. Well, they're going to put it in and run it all year. And you immediately go, Coach, you don't have the personnel to try to run what you're trying to run. You would be better off running the wishbone, running the I formation, running a lot of one back, maybe bringing a tight end in a little motion. That bothers me. And then to see them try to line up and kick an extra point when did you see in practice and you thought that would work?
Just because that's what you do, right? Yeah. After you score a touchdown, you line up, even though the kicker can't even kick it over the line. I mean, you got to do it.
You can't get it snapped. You can't get it held, and then the kicker kicks the snapper in the rear end with the ball.
I will say
it's far too often.
I will say this on behalf of the Wishbone and high school coaches. I don't know about Texas as much, but I do Munford football games for Munford High School. That's 5A, and they play a lot of these other 5A teams around the state. And a lot of these teams in Middle and East Tennessee, God bless them, if they don't have a quarterback that can throw it, they're running the bone.
They also have a bunch of big offensive linemen.
Exactly, and I'm so happy to see that. To your point, Brett, if you don't have the personnel, don't try and do something you can't do.
And then when you don't have that personnel, you're going to be in a lot of games that it's going to approach the sportsmanship rule. You're going to get into the down 35. You got to make it easier on yourself and kind of finesse this thing and land the airplane and try to possess the ball and run the clock a little bit. Yeah. Even in defeat, you got to recognize I can't go out there and air quotes here, run my stuff. or we get beat 62-0, and you know what that teaches a youngster?
Nothing at all.
Brett, I grew up with Ken Netherland as the coach at my high school. I love the wishbone, know all about it. I'm an advocate. He's great, one of the best coaches in the history of the state.
Okay, maybe not wishbone, maybe not I formation in the SEC even, but I look around at places at FBS at non-Power 5, and I'm thinking you don't have the personnel to do that. You can't do that.
No, and I mean I think that's just a testament of where college football is right now. I mean, everyone's throwing the ball around, so a lot of these schools think we've got to do the same thing, or kids won't want to come to our school.
Or coaches think they know so much more than everybody else we need to run this stuff because I'm so smart. Instead of looking at your personnel and doing the players decide what you run, not the coach.
One more Bielema reference, and then Bryce, you throw it to break. Okay, so maybe Bielema made a mistake showing up at the Texas High School Football Coaches Association convention, drunk, and then cussing them all out and telling them they played sissy football. Maybe that was a mistake when you're trying to recruit at Arkansas.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. But that's going to do it for hour number 1 of Sports Time. On the other side, we'll talk some NBA basketball. It's been a fun little week and a half to start the NBA season, so we'll do all of that when we talk to Keith Smith right on the other side. You're listening to Sports Time with Gabe and Stats on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Looking for a bar with it all? Pimento's Burgers Bar and Grill. Pimento's makes football your fantasy with 17 TVs and $2 draft beers during the game, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you know I love a great happy hour. At Pimento's, $4 house cocktails, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Yes, $4 house cocktails. Try one of their signature drinks like the JJ Spicy Margarita or the Tennessee Sunset. How about a Memphis Mudslide? Or be a kid again with the Adventure River Rum Punch. Hungry? Try a fan favorite, Bacon Pimento Cheeseburger. Or be like me and try them all. The Mushroom Extravaganza, Sweet Heat, and the Dirty, Mean, and Nasty. Need I say more? Well, yes, because there's so much more than just pimento cheese. Sliders, salads, quesadillas, 10 different appetizers. Just don't forget about dessert. 2 great locations, 6450 Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, and in Collierville, 3751 South Houston Levee Road. A bar with it all, Pimento's Burgers Bar and Grill. So much more than pimento cheese.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
The alarm goes off. It's too early. Do I hit the snooze button or do I get up and get going? I'm tired, but I can't waste my mornings, right? Let's go. It takes energy to get things done. And let's be honest, we have less of it as we age. It's why I take M-Drive. Testosterone support for driven guys. It's packed with clinically tested ingredients. It supports healthy T levels and a drive and an energy to do more. If you're ready to put in some work, M-Drive can help you stay motivated, energized. If you want to feel good, keep going and accomplish more, try M-Drive. Testosterone support for driven guys. You can find top-selling M-Drive products at Rite Aid, Walgreens, and Vitamin Shop. For my listeners, you can try M-Drive for only $5. Get started by texting HERD to 55,000 55000. Claim your exclusive offer. Texting HERD to 55000. Don't waste another day. Get going, get M-Drive. Text HERD to 55,000 to get your first order for $5. Message and data rates may apply.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Ram Power Days and Jeep Adventure Days are on at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike. Are you ready for a new ride but can't seem to find just what you're looking for? No worries. Stop by, pick your ride, and Gossett will get it ordered just for you. No hassles, no extra charges, no market adjustments. Pay no more than MSRP at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Plus 22 Jeep Compass Latitude 4x4, we Gossett $419 a month, and 22 Dodge Charger SXT. We Gossett $479 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.10% APR, $39.99 down. Charger NH204733, MSRP $35,485. Compass NT206592, MSRP $32,825. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/22 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Tiger Nation, it's a blue out at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium on Saturday, November 5th as your Tigers take on conference rival UCF. Tickets start at just $20 and kickoff is scheduled for 2:30 or 3. Bring the whole family to watch 901's football team in action. Tailgate on Tiger Lane, cheer the team into the stadium during Tiger Walk, and help cheer your Tigers. Go Tigers Go!
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Oh, nothing but the best.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Gabe will be back with us tomorrow. I have Bryant Dacus with me today co-hosting and Jay Morgan Harder producing this show. Keith Smith will join us and talk all things NBA momentarily. The Grizzlies tonight on the road, 9 p.m. Memphis time tip in Sacramento. Saturday night, 8 p.m. in Utah, and then back on Monday night in Utah at 8 p.m. with the back-to-back. One trip to Salt Lake City all year. If they go back to Salt Lake City, it would be at playoff time. And look at the Jazz 9 days in and how great a start they're off to. Keith Smith joins us every Thursday to talk the NBA. He joins us now. You can follow Keith on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA, contributor to Spot Track, Celtics blog, and the Front Office Show. He joins us now. Keith, 9 days in, what's your big 9-day takeaway?
I try not to get too high or too low on individuals or on teams. This early, I get burned with that too often. More the other way, I get too excited about something. But I will say right now, I don't think there can be a bigger story in the league than the Utah Jazz being 4-1. No, nobody could have expected this. Everybody thought, they're probably not as bad as it maybe looks, but they're not going to be very good. And here they are playing really, really good basketball out of the gate. And it doesn't feel fluky. It feels kind of sustainable as long as they don't, start trading off major parts of the roster. So that for me is the one thing that just kind of jumps off the page more than anything.
Keith, we've joked playfully, very playfully on this show about Will Hardy. If you went to the top 3 sports bars within about a 6-block radius, say like in Memphis, we have Beale Street, and you walked in and you just, for a beer at those bars, give me the head coach of the Utah Jazz, I don't think we'd have to buy a lot of beer.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. You might get a couple Jerry Sloans in there, and those kind of things. And with Will Hardy too. I mean, it also this is a guy who looks like he's we all were there in school. The guy who he graduated college and then went back to his alma mater at high school, and he was the JV coach. Because he looks barely older than the players. That's Will Hardy, but boy, he's a really good coach. I know the Celtics were very happy for him to get the opportunity, but selfishly, they didn't want to lose him off their staff there because that's how highly they thought of him as well.
And the Grizzlies, they're about to go, or I guess they start their little West Coast trip tonight, but they'll see Utah in a back-to-back this weekend. But with the Grizzlies, it came out, I think, yesterday that Zaire is going to be out for about 4 to 6 weeks, along with Jaren. Do you think, 3-1 start to the season for the Grizzlies, do you think they have enough to kind of continue the success? Defense has looked a little shaky at times, but do you think they have enough to kind of continue winning games without those two pieces?
They do. This is where Taylor Jenkins, kind of earns his money and his accolades here, because you got to keep your head above water for the next, let's call it month and a half. But you also need to do that without completely burning out your guys, right? It doesn't do you any good if by the time you get Jaren Jackson Jr. back, and Zaire Williams back, if John Morant and Desmond Bane are already, running on fumes. That's just not, you're just going to then kind of be riding that roller coaster all year. So, this is one where I think, right, it was the other night, I want to say they got beat pretty good, but I thought he made the absolute right call by pulling the plug early. And basically saying, all right, I'm not running the guys into the ground. If you have a game like that here, so be it. It's going to happen. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't, point differential and all that stuff's impacted, but no one really cares about that. A loss is a loss, whether it's by 1 or by 100. If I can save some miles on my guys, let's back off. But, the Zaire Williams one was really a bummer for me because this was just a golden opportunity. It was always going to be a big part of the rotation, but he was going to play a ton with Jackson out and with Dylan Brooks out to start the year. And then with, Kyle Anderson gone, this was like, here you go, here's your 35 minutes a night. Let's see what you got. And, this is just now it's going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball to open up his second year, so that's a little bit of a bummer.
And another team they'll face on this little road trip is going to be Portland, and Dame Lillard. He suffered an injury last night. How long do you think he's going to be out with that injury, and how does that affect a Portland team that's been really good to start the season?
Yeah, so Dame himself said last night that it was no big deal and that he thought he'd be back. If it was a playoff game, he'd play. Thought he'd miss this Friday's game, and then he'd be back in action and out there. And now Shams Charania is reporting they're going to shut him down for a week or two. And my guess is that's Portland basically saying, hey, we got to be careful here. He's not. Game's on the wrong side of 30 now. We don't need this turning into a what could be a 1 to 2 week injury, turning into a 1 to 2 month long injury that's bothering him all year long. So I think prudent to be careful. Kind of say, hey, we're gonna put the brakes on here a little bit. Let's get you feeling good, and then we'll get back at it because they realized last year just how important he is to that team. They already knew, but that really kind of affirmed it for everybody.
Keith, let's talk about Damian Lillard's old running mate, now doing so well down in New Orleans. And I picked Willie Green to be my preseason coach of the. I picked him to be my NBA coach of the year in our preseason picks. I was in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl, and I was at the game the night that Ricky Rubio got hurt. And it wasn't because of Ricky, and it was sad to see. But from that point on, the Pelicans really took off for the rest of the year. Closed strong, made the CJ deal. Can with a healthy Zion, can they be in that? Can they be out of the play-in game? Can they be 1 through 6?
Yeah, I think they can be. I'm starting to think they can get there with Zion, Ingram, and CJ feeling pretty good with the depth they've built around those 3 guys. I'm thinking they could be in the mix maybe for home court advantage if one of those top teams kind of stumbles or deprioritizes the regular season too much or something along those lines, because that team is good, and they're good in a lot of different ways. I don't know that they're going to lock down a lot of teams defensively. Herb Jones has to do so much of the heavy lifting for them defensively, but offensively, they can play a lot of different ways. They can get you inside with Zion, with Valanciunas. They can go to the offensive boards. They've got better shooting than they've had in the past couple of years. Trey Murphy, really emerging as part of that rotation as, a big wing shooter is, really, really important for those guys. So I think New Orleans is tough, and I think they're going to be, around, deep into, the playoff positioning all the way through.
Hi, Keith. It's Jay Morgan. I wanted to ask you about the 76ers, who are off to a slow start. They played some good teams, though. I'm really concerned. Like, the first night, they keep talking about how Doc Rivers is saying one of the keys to this year's team is to put the ball in James Harden's hands more. I think it was after the first game, the stat that was going around NBA TV, or it was TNT inside the NBA, was that he dribbled 500-some-odd times. The rest of the team dribbled 400 sometimes. I think it really is a detriment to Tyrese Maxey and how good of a player he is. He had a much better game last night. But how do you assess the first 5 games of the 76ers? And are you concerned at all by the ball being in James Harden's hands more?
Assessing their first game, it's a mess. They needed to be better than this. This is now, you're not a fan. I think you maybe even have it creeping in on some of the players, maybe in the front office, maybe even some of the coaches, if you can get them to be interested or honest, I should say, truthful with you, is there's a whole stretch of, it's early. Let's not panic. But that quickly turns into, all right, we thought it was early. Now it's bad. And their transition defense is rotten. They don't make any effort to get back. Joel Embiid, I know he said he had plantar fasciitis over the summer. They kept him from working out, so he's way behind on his conditioning. But this feels like we're in about summer 4 in a row now of some reason he wasn't able to go. To your Harden question, it does worry me from the standpoint of these are not the Houston Rockets, despite their best efforts of turning them in to the Houston Rockets with all their signings and additions. This is not everybody standing around, wait for Harden to break the defense down and pitch it out. They've got guys who can play, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and as you mentioned, Tyrese Maxey. There's got to be a little bit more conscious sharing of the load there and letting other guys shine at times. What I personally believe is Doc Rivers should be staggering those lineups. You can start them all, but get an early sub for Harden and Embiid, maybe 3-4 minutes into the game. Let Maxey and Harris do their thing for the next 3-4 minutes. Then bring Harden and Embiid back as the other team's going into their bench. But one thing Doc has never done is stagger his lineups. He kind of plays traditional old school. My starters play. I work in my bench guys. I run some all bench units, and then I go from there. So that's going to have to be a major, major change in philosophy from him, and I'm just not sure it's one that's coming.
Another question with the 76ers. What is up with Matisse Thybulle off the bench? I mean, last year he seemed to be such a big part of that team, started a lot of games down the stretch, kind of made his money with his defense, but now only getting like 2 or 3 minutes a game. Is there something kind of behind the scenes going on, or is it just not enough minutes to go around?
Yeah, I think it's more of not enough minutes. I think adding in Daniel House and then adding in a guy you guys are all familiar with there, DeAnthony Melton.
Yeah.
Now it's starting into, we just don't have enough minutes to play these guys because, Harden's going to play a bunch and Maxey's going to play a bunch. With P.J. Tucker in the fold, Tobias Harris is going to play quite a bit as the 3. So that means, Thybulle's 2 positions, the 2 and the 3, they're loaded now with guys who can play those spots. There's just not minutes, and he doesn't bring anything offensively.
Right.
Now, there may become a point where they say, all right, we're scoring enough. We need someone else who will come out here and defend, and I think that point may come sooner rather than later. I'm just not sure how you get there because you're certainly not going to sit Harden or Maxey. Maybe it becomes with, all right, we're going to cut in some of Harris's minutes or we're going to cut back on P.J. Tucker's or something like that. But, yeah, I think there's a role. Or it's going to be teams are going to be making phone calls here pretty soon saying, hey, what are you looking for? We'd love to add Matisse Thybulle to our wing rotation.
Keith Smith, our guest, and we talk NBA with him every Thursday. And, Keith, we may have set an NBA market, if not a North American record today. We're almost 11 minutes in, and we haven't mentioned the winless Lakers. Is that a record?
I almost mentioned them, bro, right off the jump when you asked me what jumps off this year. But I just got finished recording our show for an off the show with my Lakers buddy Trevor Lane, and I was just like, I'm going to let it go and see if we could really set a record and go a whole one. But yeah, it's the Lakers. I guess we got to get into them, right?
Yeah, we have to. 0-4, and last night that look on the bench of heads down, shoulders shrugged. I mean, they look very defeated.
Yeah, they really did. It's a mess there. I don't know any other way to describe it. I mean, their roster is really not well built. They went out and, in the last 2 years they've signed 1 million guards, and none of them can shoot. You would have assumed, when you cycled through that many guys at the 1 and the 2, you would have stumbled into one of them that can at least shoot the ball, and they haven't done that. And there was a play last night where, it looked like LeBron James' first Cavaliers run when he, still wasn't even shaven yet on a regular basis, and he was going, 1-on-5 into a bunch of defenders in the lane because they were all like, nope, we're not stepping out on any of these shooters. So, yeah, it's really ugly for them right now. And the sad thing, if you're a Lakers fan, is there is no easy fix to how you get out of this mess.
They're really
how many years to fix it?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, you can flip it pretty quickly because Russ's contract comes off the books. If you can find the right trade to kind of send him out with the draft picks, you might be able to fix it pretty quickly. With that, but yeah, it is. It really is something where they're going to have to, get something going, or it's going to look an awful lot like it did last year with just a team that is, seems kind of almost rudderless, locked into what they're doing, but without a great plan. But, it might be next offseason before we can really see them make meaningful roster changes.
Their best shooter might be Matt Ryan, not the quarterback, a name that I'm sure everybody's familiar with. No, I wanted to ask you also, Keith, about the Toronto Raptors. You can tell the game I watched last night was the Sixers and Raptors, and it was the first time I've seen the Raptors play this year. And I mean, I know, like you said, terrible transition even for the Sixers, but the Raptors looked unbelievable. All of their starters scored 15 or more points. Pascal Siakam was unbelievable. How good is this Raptors team? And how much of a superstar is Pascal Siakam in the league?
Yeah, to your last one, he's much more of one than he gets credit for being. Pascal Siakam is terrific. I mean, there's not a lot he can't do. And my favorite thing, I actually tweeted about this morning, is after I finished watching the game, was Pascal Siakam now just gives the Raptors whatever it is they need for that game. They need him to go out there and score, he goes out there and score. They need him to distribute, he'll distribute. They really need him to lock in defensively, he'll do that. He's going to give them whatever that specific individual game calls for. I mean, he is just really, really good. For the team, they're pretty good. They're a little weird in the way the roster's built. They've got an awful lot of guys who are coming off their bench that are really probably fives, and that is kind of a little messy for them. They've got to get that sorted out and figured out, but it's Masai Ujiri. My guess is we'll see that. We'll see him. You'll find a trade or two that rebalances them a little bit. But when you're playing lineups of Siakam, Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent Jr., you're really going to be pretty tough to beat defensively because those guys they're all the same size, and they'll just switch everything, against anybody. So it really is a really good, solid, fun team to watch, too, especially with the way they get up and down the floor, offensively and defensively.
So a player that I've been watching a lot in these first couple of games, and we did predictions and stuff before the season started, but it was Paolo Banchero down in Orlando, and I'll be honest, I have been surprised at how good he's been to start the season, averaging 24, 7.5 rebounds, and 3.2 assists per game. How impressive is it what he's doing down there in a winless Orlando Magic
running
team?
Zone, too.
Yeah.
The running zone, I think, is more a necessity than a design thing right now. But, yeah, he is really, really good. He moved him at the end when I finally took my draft up. I moved him to the top of the board because I felt like he had the highest ceiling along with the absolute lowest floor. I was convinced this guy's going to be at the bare minimum a long-term NBA player. You could just see it. Just understands how to play. We can handle the ball and pass and do all the things he can do. He's really good now. The team's a mess. All of their guards are hurt, and that's an unfortunate thing. I always say, when you're a rebuilding team, you don't have any good guards. You're really going to be sunk because you're going to be bad record-wise. But you lose out on the development because you don't have anybody who can really set you in your offense. Get you running stuff you're supposed to run. As you're out on the break, they're the guys that are running the break and getting you set up. So, but the magic of putting the ball in Banchero's hands a lot, Franz Wagner's hands, and basically saying, hey, lead us. And, that's going to be that way, for the next at least few weeks until he can get some of these guards healthy and back on the floor. But he's a lot of fun. Orlando definitely has they've got their franchise guy. I'm sold 5 games in that Paul Banchero is that guy.
Keith, great stuff as always. We look forward to doing it again next week. The season, it's starting to take a little bit of shape. We got that big glob of clay last week, and we're starting to mold a little bit. I was at the Grizzlies game on Monday night in the win over the Nets when had 38 from Bain and from Ja. So we're starting to have a little definition about the year, and we'll follow it, and we'll talk about it with you again next week.
Absolutely, guys. Desmond Bain's playmaking just got sneak this in. Him being able to play make for others off the dribble the way he has, oh boy, I'm the hard eyes emoji guy when I see that. That is super.
It's fun to watch him play. Thank you so much, Keith. It was Keith. Fun to be there on Monday night. And on Tuesday, Brian, I was a little bit hard on Ben Simmons and his quote. Mm-hmm. After last night, I'm starting to almost feel sorry for Ben Simmons.
I mean, I think you kind of have to. I mean, it just doesn't seem like anything's going his way. He's really, really struggling. And what I loved is what Kyrie Irving came out and said was really kind of had his back and was like, hey, let's give him time, let him get acclimated, because we've seen what he can do. I just don't know if it's there anymore.
I don't know that it's there. Going into last night, he had more fouls and technicals than he had field goals attempted.
Field goals attempted?
Yes, going into last night, and I think it got skewed last night. But it feels a little bit like that baseball player a long time ago. It was Steve Sachs playing second base for the Dodgers. He could not throw the ball to first base. I mean, he got a mental hang-up. It feels like something's got to get unlocked for Ben Simmons.
I think you guys are being too soft on him, to be quite frank.
Really?
I think it's not rocket science. It's basketball. He is hard to guard when he drives to the rim. No matter how little he shoots, he's going to draw 3 defenders when he drives hard at the basket. Heck, you saw it against the Grizzlies. Every time he drove hard, it resulted in an assist.
Yeah.
What he gets killed is when he picks up his dribble like a scared middle schooler 15 feet from the basket, and then he turns it over.
That's right.
So I agree. I understand that he hasn't played in 2 years like what Kyrie said and what you guys mentioned. But at the end of the day, it's not rocket science. I don't know if Steve Nash can't get through to him. Their assistants can't get through to him. Drive to the basket, man. I think it's that simple.
That's a good point.
That is a great point and very fair. I was really tough on him Tuesday, and Jay Morgan tough on him on Thursday. So 2 out of 4 show days this week, we've gotten our licks in on Ben Simmons. Hey, look, fall road trips are the best in a new truck or SUV, and you need to start that road trip in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, where it's truck season. Find whatever you want. If you don't find it, order whatever you want. A new Silverado, or a Blazer, a Traverse, High Country, or Crew Cab, a new 23 Camaro convertible. How about a new Equinox with 1.9 financing? Because your good credit deserves it. All-Stars, famous for their certified and pre-owned selections like the Bighorn, Ram Laramies, Mustangs, Grand Caravans, Suburbans, Tahoes. Kevin and Jeff asked me to give a big thank you, a big shout out to all of you that brought your great pre-owned cars and trucks to them to purchase. If you have a car or truck to sell, you can do it today. Bring it to Olive Branch to All-Star, and they will write you a check for big money today, even if you owe money against it. Don't wait for service. Gary in the service department, he's got you covered on oil changes, tire rotations, anything like that. Gary's your guy. Remember, it's not the Pike, it's not South Haven, it's not Mount Moriah, Bartlett, or Collierville. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch down Highway 78. First exit into Mississippi, Kraft Goodman Road. You're there. Or go to allstarautogroup.com.
We talked a lot of NBA with Keith Smith on the other side. We'll talk about the Grizzlies, and they start their West Coast road trip tonight against Sacramento. Stick with us. You're listening to Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. Depending on how long you've been around, you've likely known my name for 30 years. Perhaps for my 20 years as the morning show on Kicks 106 as the Young and Elder Show, or my 15 years at Brian Elder Roofing. So obviously, my reputation means everything to me. One terrible customer experience could tarnish a third of a century of goodwill. My reputation for quality and strong relationships is our main focus. We're the highest certification, a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning. If you have a business or a commercial building, we're the highest certification for warranties with GAF and Mulehide products. We don't come at you in sales mode. If you got a problem, sometimes the solution is just to fix the problem. Call me right now. I'll come out and see you today. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hey, Mid-South, you want a new ride? We Gossett and Gossett Kia on the Pike. How about up to 35 MPG in the new 2023 Kia Seltos LX SUV? Only $257 a month, 36-month lease, $29.99 to its signing. And get behind the wheel for a real thrill in 2023 Kia K5 LXS sedan. We Gossett $293 a month, 36-month lease, $31.99 to its signing. If you don't see what you want, not a problem. Let Bobby J order a new ride for you today. And you won't pay over MSRP. Plus, get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Seltos P738 6423, MSRP 25325, K5 950 6883, MSRP 26860, PF 695. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2022 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Dad, come on, you're going to fall in the barbecue.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Gabe back in here with us tomorrow. Tomorrow, I hope I have made it to College Station where Ole Miss will play Texas A&M on Saturday night, 6:30 kickoff, 4:30 pregame. I'll be part of the Ole Miss pregame from legendary Kyle Field on Saturday night. That starts at 4:30. Hope you can give it a listen. Ole Miss and A&M, that's the late game. I think a really good games, Auburn and Arkansas, to start the long day in the SEC. The long West Coast road trip for the Grizzlies, it begins tonight. The Grizzlies now 3-1 for the season, 1-1 this week, or 1-0 this week. And we were talking. I kind of started the show with my top story talking about the 2-1 week mentality. It's not that way every week. You play maybe more than that, but that's pretty good, especially with the news now of Zaire working through a lot of things for this young team. We knew a long time ago would be without Jaren. Don't know how much longer to be without Jaren. It is a defensive liability to be missing him. I think that's a lot of the reason for the 124 and the 122 and the large number of points they've allowed. But this is a pretty good liftoff to a season.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think coming into the season, you knew that you were going to be, especially without Jaren, and so I think you wanted to get off to a hot start. I know a lot of people were like, what can they do these first couple of weeks without him and without some of these other injuries? So I think you got to be happy with how they've started.
Yeah, I think you're happy with how they started. The one number, Brett and Bryant, that I saw today that concerns me, and like you said, they've given up a lot of points, but that might be an aberration as you go through the season. It's only been 4 games. The one number that concerns me right now, and this could also be due to Jaren being out a little bit, or it could just be the fact that Steven Adams is really your only guy, is they're only rebounding 69% of their opponents' misses. That's a defensive rebounding percentage of 69. Your average in the league is usually going to be like 76, 77%. Yeah. So that's a really low number. And when you're playing games on the road especially, one of the things the Grizzlies do really well is they steal these possessions in the first 3 quarters that end up being points that win you the game. But if you're giving up a lot of second chance opportunities on the road, a lot of those baskets are going to go in, and you might have a little bit of less success. So 2-1 on the road and cleaning that number up, Brad, I think you're right on the mark. That's really what you're looking for.
Brian, I know when we were talking about preseason forecast for the Grizzlies, and I went high. I went 56 wins. No way we're going through all 82 games with wins and losses. We couldn't put the poor listening public through that, and I don't want to do it either. But I did say feast on the East, home or road, and then feast on the real or perceived lesser.
Yeah.
Lessers. Tonight is a real lesser in Sacramento.
Yeah, and a Sacramento team that hasn't gotten a win yet, but I'll be honest, like, they really haven't been that bad. I mean, you look at some of their losses. They lost to the Warriors by 5. They lost to the Clippers by 2. And they lost to the Trailblazers by, 8?
And those are all good teams, too. And the
really
Blazers are undefeated up until last night.
So it's going to be a good test night. One thing I did see from Drew Hill, he tweeted this a little less than an hour ago. He said the over-under line in Memphis versus Sacramento tonight is set at 236.5 points. That's the highest total of the NBA season so far.
Oh, perfect opportunity for me to tell you about FanDuel for tonight then. Brad Norsworthy here for FanDuel, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Tonight, I promise you, in my notes, try the under on the Grizzlies tonight for your free bet. Sign up with promo code SPORTS56. FanDuel, they got all your favorite bets from money line to point spreads to overs to unders. I love the Grizzlies and Sacramento to go under. I think that big number tonight, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So sign up right now with promo code SPORTS56 for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code SPORTS56. Make every moment more. This season with FanDuel, have fun with all the different sports. Official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. Y'all like my under tonight?
I love it.
I think, yeah, they're going to give you that number that high, Brett. You got to take the under.
I think you have to.
Now, I've also said to Bruce Marshall with us on Fridays, and he'll be with us tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I think I would rather have flaming hatchets being thrown at me while running with the Bulls in Pamplona than try to live on NBA over and unders.
Well, that's fair. You also hate betting unders, don't you, Brett? You've said that a couple of times. Life's too short to bet an under.
Life's too short. You're sitting there. It's like that guy invariably at the crap table. If you go to Tunica, you go to any place that's betting against himself while he's shooting dice.
That's right.
No, you can't do that. That's not allowed.
I agree, Brett. I try and tell Bryant this all the time. Bryant is always sending me unders to play, and I quote exactly what you just said, almost to a T. I agree with you 100%. We want teams to score. I want to go watch these games. I'm betting on these teams to put the ball through the basket. I'm with you 100%.
Who can have confidence in somebody holding dice and betting against himself?
Nobody.
The whole world rejects that.
Betting against yourself or betting against other people at the table, not in good form.
No,
we want
not
everybody
cool.
to do well. I agree.
Right.
The one thing I wanted to talk about the Grizzlies-Kings, I wanted to ask you guys this too, is I mentioned earlier how many possessions per game in the first three quarters that the Grizzlies steal these points away, whether it be hustle plays. You see like once a game, these guys off the bench diving out of bounds for a basketball results in 2 points or 3 points, and those add up over the course of the game. If we're just betting spots tonight, I think the Kings plus 3.5 would be a good bet, but I cannot bring myself to bet against the Grizzlies. They just have too many intangibles that just end up winning you games. What do you guys think about the spot tonight?
I don't hate the Kings roster, but it's been like this for a long time now. Just the pieces are okay, but the collective is not.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right, but I don't know. This just seems like, for some reason, I have this feeling like this is a spot for Sacktown minus or plus 3.5.
But the other thing that Brett mentioned is it's a back-to-back against the Jazz next.
Yeah.
I really like this Jazz team, and I don't see the Grizzlies dropping 2 in a row, even though it is a tough road trip. It's just not
a good point.
Not the kind of thing that this team has done under Taylor Jenkins and with John Morant.
Okay, hot take time.
I love it.
Y'all's big screaming 9-day local and around the league hot NBA take. Give me a Grizzlies take and around the league. My Grizzlies take is I've never felt more confident about 56 because the cavalry's coming. Help's on the way. I mean, it could push 60.
You want to go first?
No, after you, Brian.
Okay, my big Grizzlies hot take. I've got to think about it. I don't know. Santi should be a starter the entire year.
The entire year?
Entire year.
I like Brett's a little more than yours. I do think Santi Aldama is a really good player, though.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this roster isn't the right fit for him, but I think he could be a starter in this league on other teams. I don't know how many games those teams would win necessarily, but I definitely think he could be a starter on other teams. Yeah, Brett?
I'll double down. 2 Grizzlies, all-stars, the backcourt, Ja and Bane. And I'm serious.
Love it.
That's not. Don't confuse this with Overreaction Monday. This is no, it's 9 days.
That's right.
It's early part of the season. Around the league for me, again, more confirmation. New Orleans, if they can get finally the blessing of good luck and good health for Zion, I think they can finish not in play-in, but in 1 through 6. And also this, and I touched on it a little bit in this 9 days, Bryant. This is the biggest opening. They're never going to top New Orleans Saints football. They're never going to do it. But they got a little bit of an opening. Post Sean Payton, post Drew Brees, post the expectations for the Saints. They've got a little bit of an opening in that market of hey, we're here too.
Sure. Yeah, and I think the marketability of Zion in there.
One of the most exciting players in the
exactly.
sport.
I think that helps a lot. I'm going to go with my NBA hot take, not overreaction, hot take. Portland has found their new Robin next to Dame Lillard
Anthony
and Anthony Simons. And you're not going to like this one. Pablo deserves to be an all-star this year.
No, he's playing well. Why wouldn't I agree
I don't know. I felt like that'd be something you'd be against. I feel like every time that I say something that you like, the next thing out of my mouth you disagree with
And Jay
completely.
Morgan, when I see you on the screen, I will tell you the veracity and hard to take serious, it exists. You understand that, don't you?
I certainly do. I'm wearing a wig today, although people have been telling me I look a lot younger with a wig on. I think the Magic are fine. I'm allergic to their defense right now. Like I said, Keith said it too.
Zone.
They've been forced to play zone because they're so bad at defense. None of their guys can guard anybody. They have to play zone. My Grizzlies overreaction, Brett gave it a little bit. Not overreaction, I'm sorry. My Grizzlies hot take is Desmond Bane sooner rather than later is going to find himself as the best two guard in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be an elite level player on both sides of the floor, and that's what you look for in elite players. And my overall overreaction is I think the Jazz are going to be a play-in team. And I'm going to say it after 4 games. I think the Jazz are going to be a play-in team at this point. People don't like Colin Sexton. I'm not sure why. This guy's coming off the bench. He's an elite level defender, and he passes the ball well and gets to the basket. I think this roster is a lot better than people gave it credit for before the year, and I think they're showing it right now.
So no Victor for Utah.
No. How many teams do you think are tanking? Bryant, how many teams are
right
really
now,
tanking?
It really don't look like anybody's
It's hard
tanking.
to say, too.
Yeah, it's not.
San Antonio will.
At
they
some
will,
point.
for sure.
Someone said Pop should be fired because they've been winning games to start the year.
No, I think that's going to be his parting gift to San Antonio.
Is Victor.
To get him in the Victor sweepstakes. Jay Morgan, help me with this. I know a lot of college basketball teams are having that not so super secret scrimmage right now. It's the worst kept secrets everywhere. Texas and Chris Beard, they're opening their almost $400 million arena against Arkansas. But is it an NCAA rule that it can't be streamed, it can't be televised? Nothing?
No, I don't think that's an NCAA rule at all. It really comes down to the fact that they don't play organized basketball. It's like segmented, where they're doing different things in different segments, and they don't want scores to get out, so people think that this team's better than this team because it's so controlled in so many different ways, if that makes sense at all. I'm not sure I'm describing it well, but it's just not necessarily traditional organized basketball that they don't want people to have strong opinions about the scores one way or another.
So is it like a teaching drill? Do they stop the game and maybe run a drill?
Exactly right. So it'll be like an offensive team. One team will be on offense for, let's say, 10, 15, 20 possessions, subbing guys in and out, just in half-court basketball, and then they'll switch. Now, they will do they'll do something like a 4-minute or 5-minute game, which is supposed to simulate one media timeout segment. And so it's kind of hard to keep track of the score overall, and I think that's the main reason why they're secret. But no, I don't think there's any NCAA rule associated with it.
Are the Tigers having one of those games?
So the NCAA rule that they do have is you can either elect to do, I think, 2 of these secret scrimmages, or you can do exhibition games. And so Memphis has done the exhibition. Penny was asked after the exhibition against CBU if he was going to start doing that. And he said something like, back when he was playing, they would always do exhibitions against Christian Brothers and Rose and those type of teams. So he feels like that there might be like a soft spot in his heart for those games, but that he might start doing some of those secret scrimmages against top teams, but who knows?
Back in the day, the team that everybody played, and it was an organized group called Athletes in Action. They were everybody's tune-up game. And it was grown men. I mean, it was, 28, 30-year-old guys and sometimes pretty good. And Eddie Sutton one time said, you're going to have a long year if you lose to Athletes in Action.
Even a single-digit win, you know?
Yeah.
Have you seen now with all this? There are some exhibitions this week, and charity exhibitions. One of the biggest ones, Gonzaga and Tennessee.
It's a pay-per-view event.
I'm going to buy it.
Oh,
I'm definitely going to buy it.
Brett, are you going to sink so low that you would buy a pay-per-view exhibition game event?
Man, I only listen to Amazon on Sports 56 on Thursday night. I'm sure not buying Gonzaga and Tennessee pay-per-view. Not yet. I'm not saying never.
Never.
I'm just saying not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, on the other side, we'll talk some more. We'll get into the Thursday night football game tonight. That will be on Prime, but you can also listen right here on Sports 56. So stick with us. You're listening to Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, the oldest real estate company in town. But the excitement continues with another multi-generational team of Robin and Mary Grayson Fauser. Robin, you've been in the real estate business a number of years, and Marks Bensdorf has been a good fit for you. And now your daughter Mary Grayson has also joined our team.
Yes, I love being part of the Marks Bensdorf family. The guidance and assistance in developing my business, the quality of the agents and general spirit that everyone has, and the relocation business with a major referral network convinced me to come years ago, and now my daughter has also joined me.
Mary Grayson, it's great having you join us.
Yes, Sheldon. I know that people often say that when you want the job done, call Sheldon. But if someone is thinking of selling their home or buying one, I don't horse around.
Want to reach Robin Fauser or Mary Grayson Fauser? Call 682-1868 at 682-1868 or reach me, Shell Dunn, at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
You need concrete coatings, materials, and supplies in Memphis fast, and you get this answer? Oh yeah, we got that stuff, I think, but it's in Wisconsin, so you're going to have to wait a few days for delivery. Why wait? Get your concrete coating and supplies now at TSS Supply. Everything that you need for coating concrete at TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road. And you're not dealing with just any supply store. TSS Supply specializes only in concrete coatings, materials, and supplies, all in one place. Most products are delivered same day or within 24 hours. Looking for a particular item, you need large quantities, or just have general questions? Call them at 901-729-0565, 729-0565, or you can email your question to Brad at tsssupply.com. All month in October, TSS Supply is celebrating its grand opening with 10% off your first order. TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of product? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything! A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
How do you want that cooked? Burn to a crisp or bloody as hell?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Thursday night football, a good one. We've been waiting on that. We've had not very entertaining games or hard to listen to games. That's how I've mostly consumed these Thursday night games. I've enjoyed that listening right here on Sports 56 to the Westwood One calls. I'm not saying it's forever with me with Amazon. It's probably not. I just didn't do it this year. And I'm not really at home that much on a Thursday night to consume that way. I may really regret it later in the year, and I can always get it then. And Brian, I can't stand when I do this, and I know I'm guilty of this. I'm not going to say must win tonight for either team, but I am going to say crossroads game for both. Mm-hmm. Just as important to Lamar as it is to TB12.
I think you're right, but I do think a lot of people around football, watching football in the media, definitely probably think this is a bigger game for Tom Brady just because of how the trajectory of the season has gone, kind of in more of a, downwards. What's the word I'm trying to say? Spiral. Thank you.
It has been. Two tough
been.
losses.
And so I think all eyes are kind of on. I think Baltimore's almost getting out of it because I think all the eyes are going to be on what's going on with Tampa Bay tonight.
Yeah, now we're not going to get any rushing attempts from Tom Brady tonight, and we know we will from our very, quite different quarterbacks, but both of them the central piece of their teams. Neither of these teams go into the postseason without these guys being great.
No, not at all. And Lamar playing for a contract, so everyone knows what happens on your contract year. You ball out and then get that new contract. So he's definitely going to be looking to bounce back with a win tonight over Tampa Bay, but without some of his weapons tonight.
Well, I mean, and the other thing.
Aaron Judge made it look easy contract year.
It made it look real easy.
That's the go-to contract year thing at this point. The one thing that I found interesting with this game is the Buccaneers started as 1.5-point underdogs, and that line has shifted all the way now. They're now 2.5-point favorites. A lot of people in the public, or maybe sharps, I don't know, think the Bucs bounce back.
I think it's a lot to do with the injuries. I mean, there's so many people injured. I mean, especially with his weapons, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, both questionable tonight. I just don't think they think he has anybody to throw to.
And the Ravens' defense is already decimated in the secondary so bad. Right. So we'll see.
Now, I see online, and I've been told by viewers of Thursday Night Football that this is Al Michaels unplugged, that he's really kind of letting it all hang out. Have y'all noticed that?
I've noticed it. Yeah, I haven't watched as much because I've been producing a lot of them, so I'll just watch the game.
He's listening with you, Brett.
Yeah, I'm listening with you. I'll watch it, but I'll be listening to the radio.
I'm listening because of Brian.
That's right.
No, I agree. I think he said, but he's not in a negative way at all, because he said some really good things. One of the funniest things he said that I agree with, and this is my favorite part about watching Thursday Night Football. I go back to the day of when the Titans were really bad and the Jaguars were really bad, and they'd always be Thursday Night Football. One thing he said, one of the first weeks it was really bad, he says it's sometimes better when it's worse. And it's one of the sentiments from Al Michaels that I loved. I loved that he is the broadcaster that said it. And so I think you're right, Brett. He has been a little more unplugged, but not in a negative way at all. I really enjoyed hearing him to do these broadcasts.
Bryant, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I want you to play for us when we bring in Ty Richardson. We start the 5 o'clock hour. I want the Larry Munson call, the famous Larry Munson call for Buck Bellew to Lindsey Scott from the cocktail party in 1980. The TV call of that. I want you guys to do this tonight. Y'all go find it at YouTube. The TV call was Al Michaels, and it's not as rollicking. It's not as frat housey as Larry Munson's call, but it's a great call in and of itself.
Rivaling the Miracle on Ice, perhaps?
Ooh.
Oh, no. Michaels, he was the lead voice of the number 2 team at ABC in those days. Keith Jackson and Coach Frank Vols were the number 1 team.
Whoa, Nelly.
And I'm trying to think of, and famous for that, and I'm trying to think who was Al Michaels' partner that day. Maybe Coach Ara Parsegian from Notre Dame might have been his partner on the cocktail party that day. But the really fun note about that Buck Bellew pass to Lindsey Scott, that was the only time they connected all year. That was Lindsey Scott's 1 touchdown receiving.
Really?
Arguably the most famous touchdown in Georgia football history. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
A different era of football schematics,
right.
too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So how has Kirk Herbstreit sounded on Thursday night? Mr. College, how's he sounded?
I think he's been good.
He sounded like he's been swimming in a bucket of money. Like Scrooge McDuck diving into the gold
That's
coins.
right.
No, but he's really been fine. I mean, I know a lot of people
He's a professional.
don't like Kirk, but he doesn't overstep his bounds at all. He's just kind of commenting on what he sees, and I've really appreciated him in the booth. It brings a certain professionalism to it. You're not learning a new broadcast group or anything. I've really appreciated him, but I will say, there has been criticism of him on the internet. He doesn't watch as much of my team as I do. He doesn't watch all the film that I watch.
He's like the busiest guy in football right now. I will say, one thing I have loved about I love the pre- and post-game crew for Thursday Night Football.
Richard Sherman?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love
Tony
that group.
Gonzalez?
Oh, I love Tony Gonzalez.
Who am I forgetting?
It's the quarterback. Why can't I think of who it is?
Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick's on it. Oh, it's a great group.
No, Ryan Fitzpatrick working the beard, looking like a Unabomber.
Oh, absolutely.
weirdly critical of quarterbacks, though, Brett. He was critical of Tom Brady. He doesn't really like – he and Tua aren't great friends. It was he's kind of rubbing me the wrong way of all the people on the broadcast.
Yeah, I could see that.
Huh. Now, the criticism on Twitter, Twitter could find something wrong with everybody.
Anything.
Do you think it's all substantiated, all legitimate of Kirk Herbstreit at all?
I don't know about you, Jay. I think some of it is the divide between like diehard NFL fans and diehard college football fans, because I've seen a lot of the same thing with Pat McAfee with like diehard college football fans on game day. It's like he doesn't know enough college football. He's not around college football enough, and so they try to like say he isn't as good on college football.
There's nothing more arrogant out there in sport than the shield guy.
Yep.
Whether it's their media relations people, man, I've known some NFL media relations people. They look down their nose at college football like it's just pond scum.
Doesn't surprise me.
I don't think it's substantiated of Kirk Herbstreit at all. There has been criticism of the broadcast. They had technical issues early, but other than that, no, it's been a good product.
I've also seen that the ratings have fallen each week, but I think that's probably just the how the football has been going in those games. Not a lot of scoring. But on the other side, Memphis, they have a bye week this year in football. Basketball, they'll play their second exhibition before everything really gets going against Vanderbilt. They'll have that exhibition on Sunday. So we'll talk all about that with Greg Gaston from Sports 56 Mornings and the Tiger Sidelines. That's next.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up with the promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code WIN for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Arizona 1-800-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, Kansas 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Louisiana 1-877-770-STOP. New York 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Wyoming, West Virginia 1-800-522-4700 or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net.
Hey, Mid-South, I've got Jeff Allen on the phone at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. Hey, Jeff, what's shaking?
We are making our customers happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah. How about this? 2023 Kia Sorento LX all-wheel drive for just $257 per month. 36-month lease, $29.99 due at signing. And I've got a 2023 Kia Sportage LX front-wheel drive, $287 per month. 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing.
Well, I'm feeling happy, Jeff.
And if you don't see what you want, no problem. I'll order exactly what you want, and you won't pay over MSRP at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. Seltos P738-6423, MSRP 25325, K5 950-6883, MSRP 26860, PF 695. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2022 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
I'm George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting, but this message is about running for Congress.
I want to go to Washington and bring the tax dollars back that we need to help clean up crime in Memphis. I'm asking for your vote on Sports 56 so that we can enjoy our sports without having to worry about crime. In a light turnout election, it all depends on getting your supporters out to vote. So I hope you'll call 5 or 6 people, maybe even 7 or 8 people a day, and get them to go out and vote George Flynn for Congress, because we can make Memphis safe once more. Vote George Flynn for Congress, and I look forward to bringing our tax dollars back. We've put the tax dollars into Washington, and now we need them back so we can use them to have more law enforcement, have a more efficient judicial system, and make sure violent criminals serve 100% of their times. I'm George Flynn, and I approve this message. Paid for by Flynn for Congress, Lonnie Treadaway, Treasurer. Remember, I'm counting on you to help make Memphis safe again. Vote George Flynn for Congress.
Tiger Nation, it's a blowout at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium on Saturday, November 5th as your Tigers take on conference rival UCF. Tickets start at just $20 and kickoff is scheduled for 2:30 or 3. Bring the whole family to watch 901's football team in action. Tailgate on Tiger Lane, cheer the team into the stadium during Tiger Walk, and help cheer your Tigers. Go Tigers, go.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Make them drive the car. Make them touch it. Feel it.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah.
Gabe back with us tomorrow. Bryant Dacus with me today. Producing Jay Morgan Harder, and we've got 1 hour left today, and we're going to go strong through the tape at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, David Kellum will be hosting Reb Talk from Boo Ray live on the world-famous Square in Oxford with Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin. Then after that, at 7 o'clock, will be Westwood One's coverage of Baltimore against Tampa Bay tonight. This hour of our show brought to you every day by our title sponsor, DeSoto Auto Sales, online at DeSotoAutoSales.com at 5704 Goodman Road. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area, where all the cars are thoroughly examined, checked out bumper to bumper, head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car you want just for you. You walk in, you treat it like family. Kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales. They care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a very hustle and bustle, busy world. Time really matters. That's why they have it streamlined. They've got it down. 45 minutes or less, the ultimate car experience. Find the car you want, test drive that car, paperwork completed, credit approved, you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's that simple at DeSoto Auto Sales. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and look at the cars and look at the testimonials, or visit them at 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Never has the team probably needed an open date more than Tigers football. 4-1 that rapidly turned into 4-4 with 3 aggravating losses, 2 that probably shoulda, coulda, definitely been won, and 1 that could have been one of the more humiliating blowouts ever. But for a lot of resilience and pride in the second half, the Tigers fought back last week at Tulane. Nevertheless, 4-4 headed into the open date. We visit with Greg Gasson every Thursday on Tiger Sports, and he's brought to you from the Tiger sideline by the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, Neil's Bar and Grill, and Chet Whitsett, your Cry-Like Realtor. Greg, do you agree that this was maybe the best timed open date in the history of college football open dates?
You know, I think last week you asked me one of those questions. I said, no, you're out of your mind. I forget what it was, but this is not hyperbole. This is you're exactly right. This couldn't have come at a more better time to get mentally fixed, to get physically fixed. And you have Halloween on Monday, so I guess the question is for the rest of the season, for the final 4 regular season games, will it be trick or treat?
I think you're right. And one of the biggest kind of concerns I see about this team, and we saw it again against Tulane, has been the special teams. I know we've talked about it before with this group, but last year, you know, we couldn't they couldn't kick field goals. They couldn't convert any field goals. And this year, it just seems like the field goals have been really good, but it seems everywhere else around special teams has been a problem. Is there any way that with this bye week, they can kind of fix those problems and we could see a better special teams unit going forward?
That's a big question. That's one I don't have an answer for, but I can tell you this. They've become the poster team for how important special teams are. They were last year, like you said, Bryant, and they certainly are this year. And it's pretty amazing that they either have facets of special teams that are great. I mean, great. Field goal kicking, extra point kicking. The guy's missed one extra point out of all his kicks all season long. I'm talking about Chris Howard. Punting, you have one of the best punters in the entire nation. But on kickoff return coverage and punt return coverage, they are bad. Now, I remember 2 weeks ago talking to Ryan Silverfield, the coaches meetings, about this. I said, is this a personnel thing? Do you change personnel or do you change scheme? And he said it was more or less changing the scheme and not the personnel. And now you scratch your head and you wonder, maybe it is the personnel out there because they have been in deep trouble with the way that this coverage has worked or not worked all season long. And before you blink your eye, down in New Orleans, it was 21-0.
Yeah.
Greg, I know we can't do this. This isn't platform diving where we throw out the high and the low. But if you threw out the first half at Starkville, Mississippi State was better, but also in the night, the weather, the conditions, the delay played into it. But if you threw out the first half at State and the first half at Tulane, and you didn't even look at the record, I would say this has been a pretty good football played by the Tigers, those 4 quarters notwithstanding.
It is a weird season overall, Brett, and that illustrates it pretty well. You just think about how close they are to being 6-2, possibly 7-1. But the bottom line is they're 4-4, and I understand fans being as upset as they are. Right? They certainly don't want to get back to mediocrity. Last year they were a break-even 6-6 during the regular season. God forbid you take a step backwards and go no bowl, which would be 5 or less wins. But it could easily be 6-2, 7-1. I'm not exaggerating that thing, but you have to complete the game. You have to play 60 minutes. They blew it against Houston. They could have easily won that game against East Carolina. You talked about the second half against Mississippi State after being beaten up in the first half. They showed pride in this game, and you pointed it out at the start of this segment, that they showed pride coming back the way they did against Tulane in the second half. It wasn't Tulane sat their starters. It was 35-0. They went to the locker room. I talked to Ryan Silverfield. I had the job of talking to him coming off the field down 35-0. It wasn't pretty, but the guy is at least honest and open and tells it like it is. He had to go into that locker room, and they had to figure out a game plan to come back and somehow peck away and get back into the game. And by golly, they did that. So I think it makes it a little bit harder for the Silverfield detractors out there to say the guy can't coach when you saw what he did as far as motivating the team to go out there and play. Now, I don't know what will happen the rest of the way. Nobody does. This is an important 4 weeks for, obviously, this year's team, but really for the future of the team and what direction they're going in. Having this week off, having the bye week, can they find a way to get the game plan going, mentally be sharp, physically be ready to go against a very solid UCF team that comes in having lost against East Carolina and playing another big game this week. So hopefully playing at home will change the fortunes of this Memphis team. But you can't go 48 minutes, 45 minutes, 40 minutes of good football. You seriously, you have to go 60. You have to go the full throttle, and if you don't, you're going to lose football games.
And I think we've seen the highs and the lows of this defense. At the start of the season, they were getting a ton of turnovers and really kind of winning games because of those turnovers, but we've also seen them give up a lot of yards, especially through the air. How concerned, if concerned at all, are you for these 4 games coming back with this defense, with a UCF team that's top 10 total offense and top 10 in rushing offense, a team in SMU who has a quarterback that can sling it all over the place, and then a Tulsa team that hasn't been great this year but still has a quarterback that can hurt you in the air?
Well, they certainly face a lot of challenges. There's a lot of good offenses in this conference. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. in this conference. I think they've actually done a pretty good job overall.
Yeah.
They've had trouble on third down. They've done a good job in backing teams up, giving them third and long situations, and then they convert on the Tigers. That has been a problem. You don't want to use injuries as a crutch, but I certainly think it's apropos that they lost a lot of players so far this season. Most of them have come back, but they lost them on the defensive side. And when they didn't have some of their key players, and certainly cost them in the Houston game to not have Johnson in there, to not have their team leader. But certainly people don't want to hear excuses. They've had some really good moments. They haven't been able to get to the quarterback as much as they would like. Like you said, Brian, they forced a bunch of turnovers earlier in the season and haven't done so the last couple of weeks. They got to get back to doing so because, yes, when you play John Rice Plumlee, you know what he can do once he gets to the edge. He can run for daylight. You got some really good quarterbacks coming up. They got a good one in Mordecai at SMU. So certainly the challenge is going to be there. You don't expect anything different in the conference. You would hope that the North Alabama game is a game that they take care of business, and to get bowl eligibility, you got to win one of the three. Now, I don't know if that satisfies the upset Tiger fans. I think playing three of those at home, I certainly would love to see them go 3-1 in their final four, but that's a lot to bite off, and hopefully they can get it done, but that's a big challenge.
Our guest, Greg Gaston from the Tigers sideline. You also hear him every morning on these airwaves, 7A to 10A with Eli Savoy on Sports 56 mornings. Greg, it's almost like, I hadn't talked to him about this. He hadn't voiced this to me. I don't know if it's been out there anywhere in print or radio or TV, but it's almost like for Laird, you get that huge albatross, that NCAA dark cloud, hovering over the program, almost like the spaceship on Independence Day. It hovered over the Tiger program forever. You get that behind you, and then football kind of, throws the shoe this year. It's almost like Laird, and he hadn't been. He's never had clear sailing in his time as AD. It's defeat one thing, and then another one or two pops up.
He can't get a quiet week, for goodness sakes. I mean, since he arrived here, there's been challenge after challenge after challenge, and I think he has stepped up to the challenge. I really like what Laird and that whole administration is doing. It doesn't mean it's not going to be harder times ahead if the football program continues to struggle and decisions that need to be made. Now, I personally don't believe, and I may be in the minority, I don't believe that if the Tigers don't make a bowl, that it's an automatic change at the head coaching position, because I know they're giving Ryan every benefit of the doubt to get the job done. It would be really a step backwards, but then again, you get into the finances, right? Can you even afford to do something like that when you are looking to find money for NIL deals? You're looking to find money to support these plans on the South Campus and the renovations, of course, to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, which will be funded mostly by the state, you hope, and the city. But certainly there's a lot of expenditures there for the university with all the projects that are coming up. And could you really afford to make a move with the coach? I don't believe so. Fans will sit here, those who are detractors of Ryan, and say, well, can you afford not to make a move? Well, yeah, they can, because really the fans did not come out this year. They haven't been out. They were there for that first home game against Arkansas State at about 32,000 plus. Then it waned off, and they picked up a little bit more in their last home game. But you got 3 home games coming up. I want to see what the fans do. I want to see if they come out and support. Maybe they'll be trying to show everyone a message or prove a message to the administration if they don't come out. And remember, that's what happened with Tubby more than anything, right? Wins and losses certainly, but fannies in the seats. And that's, unfortunately, falls a lot on the coach, right? The coach gets the blame or gets the credit when the place is packed. But, I have faith in Ryan Silverfield. I think he's a really good coach. I get to talk to him in coaches' meetings and get to hear all the intricacies that go into decision-making and things that the average Joe fan can't hear or doesn't hear. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. But they can't have this disastrous November, because if that happens, I think all bets are off.
Greg, you touched on NIL and kind of the tug-of-war, the push and pull out there in the fundraising world, not just for the university, for the library or the school of music or the business school. You've got the tug of war now inside the athletics department with Fat Cat Booster. Do I cut a check to the collective or do I buy a skybox?
Exactly. There's so many. And then do I want to give the money to the collective with an emphasis on basketball? Do I want to do it with an emphasis on football? Where is my money going to go? I want to know where my money's going when I give the money. But they may also, like you said, I want to give money to go into the South Campus project. No, I want to give money to have a chance to get some of these better players. Exactly. Look, before it would be shunned if we brought this up not too long ago, right? The purchase of players, but that's basically what we have here. And Memphis has done a great job over the last 6, 7, 8 years of bringing players in, walk-ons, guys that weren't highly recruited, and developing those players into stars, NFL players. Now what happens if you get a guy in the same situation, same position, they all of a sudden have this breakout year, and now it's like, okay, well, I know I came from really not much, and I'm a walk-on, but I had a great season now, so show me the money. And then all of a sudden, you're like, we don't have the money. Well, then somebody else is going to have the money, and now there's a chance for those players to leave. I'm not saying they all leave, especially the Memphians. They may want to stay, but there's a better chance now that somebody can offer more dineros and take that player away, the player that you helped develop. That's a scary thing to think about when SMU's already thrown out the money numbers and the money that they'll throw for the players, all the players, even walk-ons, and that money will probably increase. Schools right now are in a big battle for the NIL money to be able to bring these players in. And Memphis right now, unfortunately, doing the best they can, working their tails off, are on the outside looking in when it comes to finance.
So with basketball season kind of slowly coming to an end, basketball season getting ready to kick off, we haven't talked to you since Memphis hosted Christian Brothers in its first exhibition game. What did you think of that 69-60 win by this new look Tigers?
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it was exactly what I thought I would see from having been to the open practice I was at. Now, hopefully, the coaches are looking at that, and I'm sure they are, and they're looking at, all right, what combinations may work better? What can we do to make this team a better team? And they will come up with the answers. I'm sure they will. They have an amazing coaching staff. But what did I see there? Again, I saw a Kendrick Davis player who is terrific. He struggled a little bit with the outside shot, but I saw some times when CBU doubled him up and nobody else could hit a shot from the outside. I saw a team struggle from the three-point line, which has been a recurring theme, unfortunately, under Penny Hardaway. I saw a team that can play really good defense at times, and I think more times than not, we saw that, and that's also a part of a Penny Hardaway coach team, along with Frank Haith, who brings in that type of defensive attitude, which is great. Fine and dandy, keeps you in the games. But who's going to score the basketball? Who's going to knock down the shot? Doesn't help that DeMaurier Franklin is not eligible right now because of his goofball coach.
Ridiculous.
Who won't give him a waiver, which is just horrible for that young man. I don't know what that coach thinks he's getting out of it, but it's nothing positive. But, who's going to step up? Who are these guys going to be? McCadden is the guy that Penny's talked about. We didn't see a ton of him. I do not like him rolling out Alex Lomax, Malcolm Dandridge, his son, and Alo playing in the backcourt with Kendrick Davis, a diminutive backcourt to say the least. Hopefully that will be adjusted. I'm looking at different combinations in my mind. I'm sure they are, and I think we'll see some different things on Sunday. Plus, I think what you'll see out of Lane, coached by Andre Turner, former Tiger great, is probably more conducive to what Memphis does, up and down the court. I think we'll see a more free-flowing Memphis basketball team as opposed to when you play CBU, you're going up against sort of a Princeton style, not exactly what Princeton did in Pete Carroll, but kind of like that slow-down backdoor cuts and things of that nature. I think it's a different style, and styles sometimes bring out the best in you. So I expect Memphis to play much better, and I expect to see different combinations on Sunday.
The Little General, Andre Turner, will have his Lane College team at FedEx Forum on Sunday, 1 p.m. tip, and then it will be into the start of the regular season, a week and a day after that on Monday night, November 7th, 7 p.m. tip at Memorial Gym in Nashville. Greg, you know it's a sports talk radio staple. You've done sports talk in this market forever. I'm not asking you for your number right now, but at some point next week into that Monday of opening day, out of 31 regular season games we know the Tigers are going to play, we're going to do W's and L's. I'm not asking you for your number. I'm just asking for a trading range. What is a Greg Gaston Wall Street trading range for wins for the Tigers?
Maximum
31.
There you go. I expect a 31-0 season. I'm just trying to think in my head. They obviously have a rugged non-conference schedule with those SEC teams they play, the tournament that they'll be playing in Orlando. In the conference, Houston will be a bear. Tulane will be a bit of a challenge. I think Cincinnati will be improved. I have not seen enough of this Memphis team to really take a good guess. But I would say what would be good for this team, I think very respectable, would be 23-8. 23-8, but I think it's going to be more likely to be 19-20 wins.
Would 19-20 be an automatic bid?
They will be a bubble team again, I think. Again, unless they come out, I'm watching a different type of team. I've only seen one open practice and one exhibition game. So people don't hold me to this thing. But I'm still worried about where
we're going to.
Yeah, March, we're bringing this back up.
Yeah, especially the shooting. Because DeAndre Williams can score the ball. As long as he doesn't get into foul trouble, he'll score. But where's the shooting going to come from? So I think a couple of those in Houston, John Deuce through my head here. I think somewhere in that 20 to 23 range would be very respectable. Yeah. I think if the sports score 22-23, probably get in as an at-large. If it's more like 19-20, probably be right on the bubble. And one thing I can tell you this, and you know this, Penny's teams always get better. Cal always talks about that. Penny, for sure, the teams are much better. The question is, have they done too much damage early to put themselves in a do-or-die situation basically against Houston in the conference tournament? Or are they going to be in a good enough position that even if they don't win the automatic bid, the AQ, do they get in? That's important. How Memphis starts the season. Vanderbilt's picked 12th in the SEC. They need to go into Memorial Gymnasium and win that game and then see what happens as they start to play better teams from the SEC and from around the country.
All right, you had it easy today. Trading range day. Next Thursday, in blood, your pick for the year.
That's right.
I knew that was coming. I thought you were going to give me a reprieve here. I wouldn't do any talk about that. But, yeah, I'll have some kind of number for you, solid number next week. I'll have the chance to look at them again this Sunday. We all will in the second exhibition game, and I think I'll have a better feel for where they are.
Here's the number I want for you, Greg, over the next 10 days to 2 weeks. I want 4. I want your fighting Fields to get 4 wins, and you have that World Series celebration.
Thank you, Brett. I hope it happens. I know where the underdogs going, and I'm saying we. I never like to use the term we, but, man, the Phillies, my first Phillies game, I was 5 or 6 years old with Connie Mack Stadium. Connie Mack, Brett, Connie Mack. So I got my buddy here from Los Angeles. He's in the other room. He is a huge Phillies fan, so we are fired up, and I think it's going to be a lot tighter than people expect. I think people expect the Astros are going to sweep them.
Good for you guys. Enjoy, Greg, and we'll visit next Thursday. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Greg Gaston with us every Thursday, and he's just the best. He's brought to you by the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Chet Whitsett, your Cry-Like Realtor, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, and Neil's Bar and Grill. So who are you guys far in the World Series? Never mind your pick. We're going to do that tomorrow, Bryant. But who are you far?
Go ahead, Jay.
Brian's looking at me because he knows, Brett, I hate those Phillies. I don't know why I hate them. I can't give you a good reason, but there is no team in baseball I hate more than the Phillies, Brett, so it's easy for me. I'm going for the Astros.
All right.
I'm torn, and we've talked about this a lot, Brett, about the whole, do you put anything with well, they beat y'all, so you want them to do well. That doesn't get you much. I'm gonna go for the Astros.
Yeah,
I think they're the better team.
They're funner. We're all dancing around it. I'm for the Phillies, for my Phillies friends, most particularly our friend Greg Gaston. I also like the redemption story and maybe the last best chance for Dusty to get his. I'm not going to really be rooting against either. I hope I get to watch a lot. I know I have no shot Saturday night. I'm going to try to watch some tomorrow night. I don't have a lot of shot tomorrow night, but I'm going to try to watch some. And I don't want to be that guy in this market that the Cardinals are out of it, and it's like baseball disappeared. And I don't care, because I do love the World Series. I think it's up there with the most magical things ever, the World Series.
Oh, yeah, but they're kind of making it hard for you not to forget about it because you have this super long break between. So,
all right, we're going to take a break right here, Brian. I'll throw it to break. We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, I'm going to ask you guys what I just asked Greg, just trading range for Tigers basketball, not hard and fast. We're going to do that at some point next week or even on that Monday of opening day. I think I fibbed to Greg. I won't be here next Thursday and Friday because of Ole Miss open date. Brian, we may wait to that Monday of opening night at Vanderbilt to let our picks in blood go. But I'm going to get trading range from y'all, and I want trading range from the listeners. 901-360-8255. You're not going to be held to this. Nobody is. Just trading range for Tigers basketball wins. You're listening to Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up with the promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code WIN for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Arizona, 1-800-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, Kansas, 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Louisiana, 1-877-770-STOP. New York, 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Tennessee, Redline, 1-800-889-9789. Wyoming, West Virginia, 1-800-522-4700 or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. Chet.
There are so many ways to buy and sell houses these days. How do you choose? Well, of course, choose the right way with Chet Whitsitt. Chet has over 37 years of experience as both a broker and a sales agent. He's helped lots of people buy and sell homes, and he will help you. It's the right way, and it's that easy. Buying, selling, or referrals, check with Chet at 901-484-5689 and Cry Like Realtors at 901-756-8900. Buying or selling? Check with Chet Whitsitt.
Kevin Kugler here from Westwood One. Coming up on Thursday Night Football, Jason McCourty and I will bring you all the action when the Ravens travel south to face the Buccaneers. Lamar Jackson and Baltimore looked to build on a win last week that put them atop the AFC North. Meanwhile, Tom Brady and Tampa Bay are hoping to bounce back from 2 straight losses. Join us on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just 1 pill in the morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
1 pill, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
The new era of Thursday Night Football is only on Prime Video. Tonight, it's a matchup between MVP quarterbacks when Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens travel to Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with TNF Tonight, delivered by Little Caesars. Not an Amazon Prime member? Sign up for a 30-day free trial to stream the game. It's the Ravens and the Buccaneers, only on Prime Video. See Amazon.com/watchtnf for details.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's talk some numbers here.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
I used to feel so devastated.
901-360-8255. We want your input at the text line for trading range for Tiger basketball. We're not going with the fixed number today. That'll come the latter part of next week into the Monday of opening night in Vanderbilt. Much anticipated. We all remember the last time the Tigers and the Tiger faithful traveled to Nashville. We hope we don't have the plug pulled 20 minutes out.
That's right.
This time for a lot of disappointed people last year. It couldn't be helped. Those were the times. That's what we were living in. That's not going to happen again. It's going to be fun on campus at Memorial Gym, the only gym in the SEC at Vanderbilt for Tiger basketball. So where are y'all with like a 4 to 6 game total for wins? Where are y'all in losses? Where are y'all on trading range, Bryant?
I don't say this as in I don't think they're going to be good this year. I'm probably somewhere between like 17 and 21 wins. I mean, this non-conference schedule is brutal, and especially these first 4 games. I mean, they're probably going to struggle these first 4 games against Vandy, a St. Louis team that's receiving votes in the top 25, a VCU team that historically this century has been a really good basketball team, and then a Seton Hall team who brings in a new coach, but he just said the other day that he only has 7 healthy players right now. So, I mean, you probably win that one, but this non-conference schedule is tough.
I think sorry, Brett,
and
go
then
ahead.
the SEC, I'm sorry, Jay Moore. And then the SEC West lost to Ole Miss last year.
Yep.
I think the Tigers should win that game at FedEx Forum. Then Auburn, then Alabama, then Texas A&M. I know they don't have East West in the SEC. I know that.
Yeah.
But in the football world, and that's where my brain kind of always stays, Jay Morgan. So Brian, if you're low end on your trading range, 17 speaks for itself. There'll be no at large. Your high end, does 21 get the Tigers on Selection Sunday? They're on that bracket.
I think they can sneak in. I mean, they'll be probably, if they're at 21 wins, I think you're on the bubble. You're looking at projections. You're looking at bracket watch all week trying to figure out if they can make it. And I think it's going to be one of those you've got to sit down and watch selection show to see if they're in or not.
Brian, I'm telling you now, if we're talking from 15th of February on, if we're talking NIT bracketology, and we're talking, what's our site we go to?
What is that site?
Brian, that's
Barking
Crows.
Crows. Barking Crows.
If we're referencing Barking Crow and flipping NIT bracketology, my head explodes. Jay Morgan, your trading range.
Yeah, I think Bryant went right on the money. I mean, 21 has got to be the top. They won 19 in the regular season last year.
Yeah.
It took them to get 20.
And this is a much harder. It's schedule in general.
I totally agree. So 21 would have to be my top, and I don't even know if we're including conference tournament or not in that range. I'm sure if people look at 22 wins last year, they're going to say 22 wins. They're not going to look at just the regular season schedule.
No, we're keeping it just to the 31 regular season.
Well,
games.
in that case, I mean, 20's got 20. I would go even lower. 20, I think, would be my high mark. And again, it's not. I do not think Penny deserves criticism for losing non-conference games. Obviously, we are an at-large deal. Houston's a top 5 team in the country, but I think this is just the mentality you have to have as a program is all about winning the league. And the thing that gives you the best chance to win your league is to play teams like you said, the SEC West teams and and Vanderbilt and St. Louis in these good non-conference games. That gives you the best chance to be playing your best basketball when the tournament comes around. So I'm all for it, even if I give my max wins at 20.
Well, and we also talk about so much about this non-conference schedule. I think their conference schedule is incredibly tough. And I do think while it's probably Houston at number 1 and then everyone else behind them, I think there are going to be some pretty good teams in this conference.
Oh, I do too. I mean, even a road trip to Temple. We know the home and home with Temple, the home and home with Tulane, Cincinnati.
I think Cincinnati's going to be really good this year.
Home and home with Cincinnati. Houston speaks for itself. In some Wichita State, I think will be improved. We know, and I've been following it 50 years. Y'all been following it long enough to know. You know what gets the Tiger head basketball coach in trouble? What the quickest? A home loss. Murray State last year.
Yep.
And here's the first potential of Penny getting in trouble. Whatever happens at Vandy, whatever happens at Chaffetz against Lou, Sunday afternoon against VCU. Even if the Tigers are 2-0, if they're 2-0 and he loses that one, then we know what starts that Monday morning, bright and early, on these airwaves and around town. A home loss is what gets you in trouble. A home loss to Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah. I think you're absolutely right.
Imagine all the Rebels in the stands, too, that
yeah.
day. I don't know how many single game tickets you can buy for Tigers games, but there's going to be plenty of Rebel fans.
What's your?
Mine's higher. Mine's more optimistic than y'all. And this time last year, I was crazy. I was saying Final Four Tigers. That was disastrous and was wrong. And we knew early that it was going to be way off. I'm 19 to 23 out of 31 regular season games, either not 19 and 12 or 20 as low end. High end 23-8. 19-12 then would, and I said we were going to keep it to the 31 regular season games, and I'm breaking that. 19-12, we know at Dickies Arena, got to add a little something. 20 and 11, got to add a little, but not as much. 22-9 going to Dickies, just don't get anybody hurt.
Yeah.
23-8. Well, you wouldn't want to lose, by 20, and that'd be the last thing the committee see, because that would hurt seeding, but they would be in.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if you go in there with single-digit losses, I think you're looking pretty good for the tournament. But I just keep going back to this non-conference schedule, and I think it's a huge win if you can come out of there with only, 4 or 5 non-conference losses?
In my mind, certainly. And I think they stole's not the right word. I think that they were able to win some of the games that were close, even non-conference or conference last year, in no small part because Jalen Duren is built like Dwight Howard.
That's right.
And he is such an interior presence that the big thing with Penny is scheming pressure, whether that be 94 feet or just half-court pressure. And when that gives up and they get to the basket, there's 7-foot-tall Jalen Duren that's built like a Greek god down there to stop things. That presence is not there. Now, you have Player of the Year Kendrick Davis. I don't think we even know what that's going to look like. Obviously, if it ends up being like SMU last year, you missed the tournament. But I think a big factor this season is not having a big like Jalen Duren or Preston Chichua to protect things at the rim.
Look at these coaches and these different styles and these different motivations in this non-conference schedule. Coach Hardaway did himself no favors, and he makes it. I mean, he made this schedule. He wanted it even tougher. He wanted Arkansas somewhere in here, and as best we've been able to ferret it out. Brian, Eric Musselman didn't want to play home and home, only kind of neutrals for him. You've got Jerry Stackhouse there on Monday night at that bandbox, at that gym on campus. Then another bandbox, newer, nicer, Chaffetz. Travis Ford's going to try to score 100 on you. Then you got to go to Orlando, and we're going to get really good insight there because our very own Eli Savoy will be calling the Ole Miss games there with the overlap for football in David Kellum's Egg Bowl duties Thanksgiving night. So Eli will be there. We'll have Dave there. We're going to have Orlando covered. All those different styles. The most dangerous coach in the SEC, got to win, is Kermit Davis. You get him. Darrell Walker and his Little Rock team, if Travis Ford's going to try to score 100, Darrell Walker's going to try to score 40 and win.
That's right. And then, you keep going. Then you got Auburn and Alabama back-to-back.
You got the Iron Bowl. The Tigers having to play in the Iron Bowl. And and Buzz Williams and A&M.
Yeah, but and Jay, you've said that earlier, and you've said it multiple times about how big it's been for Memphis to have this non-conference schedule against these teams, because it's been in the past where you've gotten kind of close to the end and it's been, they didn't have a strong enough non-conference schedule. And so now putting these big boys on there, we're definitely going to have a good non-conference schedule.
I am an advocate, and this really works much better if you're like Rick Barnes at Tennessee or someone at a Power 5 school, but I am always an advocate, and John Calipari does this too. I don't care what games you lose in the non-conference, play the best teams you can, and does that nowadays with the net rankings. If you're playing good teams, doesn't really hurt you too much as long as you're winning these games in the conference play. That's the biggest thing. I think it's all about the process, and as long as you play these non-conference teams that are really good, playing really good basketball, you're going to be set up to win conference games. I think it always works itself out.
When you even saw some teams last year in the NCAA tournament who got in over teams with maybe better records because of their strength of schedule.
People don't just look at the record total anymore. People are
so many analytics.
The net ranking is so much smarter than it used to be.
Yeah.
The real perception of the AAC, it has to be better this year, doesn't it?
I think so, and I think it will.
Houston helps being in the top 5.
Oh, man, Houston's going to be so good this year.
Talking Final Four.
Oh, absolutely.
Again,
right now, I was looking either this morning or yesterday. They are in a 4-way tie right now on betting for national championship winner. So, there's a lot of high hopes for Houston this year. Like I said, I think Cincinnati's going to be better. I think Tulane's going to have a really good team this year. So I'm
talking about Temple too.
I think Temple's going to be better. So it's going to be a fun season that's going to tip off here in little more than a week. So we'll see what they do.
I've got one more piece of business to do before we get to Taco Bell Crunch Time. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. Start NFL Week 8 off right. That's coming up in just about a little over an hour. The No Sweat Same Game Parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You'll get free bets back if your Thursday night same-game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same-game parlay is a perfect way to combine your bets for a big payout, like a Lamar Jackson over rushing yards. You want to really get wild? How about Tom Brady over rushing yards? Better than that, though. Tom Brady over passing yards and an anytime touchdown from Mike Evans. Build your own or choose from one of the popular SGPs pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However you want to play, you can bet the NFL on Thursday night with a no-sweat same-game parlay. Also, have fun with the Grizzlies tonight. Sign up with promo code SPORTS56 if you don't already have an account. If you already have a FanDuel account, you're set. Sign in to see what you got. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Again, promo code SPORTS56, must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. 3+ legs, minimum $1 bet required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $5. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
About 15 minutes left in the show today. On the other side, we'll get to Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. Depending on how long you've been around, you've likely known my name for 30 years. Perhaps for my 20 years as the morning show on Kix 106 as the Young and Elder Show, or my 15 years at Brian Elder Roofing. So obviously, my reputation means everything to me. One terrible customer experience could tarnish a third of a century of goodwill. My reputation for quality and strong relationships is our main focus. We're the highest certification, a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning. If you have a business or a commercial building, we're the highest certification for warranties with GAF and Mulehide products. We don't come at you in sales mode. If you got a problem, sometimes the solution is just to fix the problem. Call me right now. I'll come out and see you today. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One. It's Thursday Night Football coming up from Tampa, with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers playing host to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Kevin Kugler and Jason McCourty will call all the action on air and on the free live stream sponsored by AutoZone. Join us to find out if Brady and the Bucs can break their surprising 2-game losing streak on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill in the morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
One pill, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
O'Reilly.
When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
I couldn't believe it either, but that thing runs like new.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
My nail tech knows how to keep it loose.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Brett, what I learned today is we know Victor Wembanyama has taken over the NBA, the potential first number 1 overall pick in next year's NBA draft. But it was announced today that all of his games over in France are going to be streamed on the NBA app for free so that all fans can get a look at Victor while he plays for the Metropolitan 92s. So starting on Saturday, 1 p.m. our time.
What a deal.
You can watch Victor for free every single home or every game at all for in the French League.
Rudy Gobert included. Is he already the greatest French basketball player ever?
Sure.
Why not? Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, why not?
I mean, we need to do a little something, don't we?
Tony Parker would like a word.
Yeah, Tony Parker strolling into Springfield would like a word with all that. I learned today artist renderings, the architectural conceptions of anything looks great. We've seen the splashy artist renderings of Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium, and the potential soccer field out at the fairgrounds, the renovations, AutoZone Park. And did you see the mind-blowing artist renderings of Buffalo's new stadium today? Everywhere you see artist renderings, they always kind of look better than the reality, don't they? But I guess they should. It's a little bit like coaches' shows highlights. Any coaching show, you would think the team won 85-0.
That's right.
And I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. While I'm pointing fingers at people, it's almost like pregame and postgame shows. They always sound like every team's going to win every game or just one even when they lose. And there's nothing wrong with any of that.
That's right. Nothing wrong with it at all. What I could have done without, this actually happened yesterday, I think, or maybe the day before, but Manhattan, the Jaspers basketball team, they fired their head coach, Steve Masilio. I hope I said that right. I think
you did. Former Kentucky.
Yeah, at Kentucky under Tubby.
Played for Coach Smith.
That's right. They fired him only 2 weeks before the start of the season. They put out a press release with a quote from the athletic director that said, "We thank Coach Masilio for his service and wish him well as we continue to build successful teams for the future. And with the signing period approaching, we determined that it was time to begin rebuilding from the top down." I think this is a terrible decision. If you were going to pull the plug on him, pull the plug 2-3 months earlier when
they got no shot.
Exactly. And already some of their top players are deciding to hit the portal. Preseason MAAC Player of the Year Jose Perez has hit the portal. He's had a bunch of teams reach out to him, one of those being the Tigers, and he's told Jeff Borzello that Memphis is one of the 3 teams that are on him the hardest, and he also said that he expects to be eligible this year because of his coach being fired. So if he does choose the Tigers, that could be another guy you could see on the court this year for Penny Hardaway.
Couple of things about Manhattan. They are not in Manhattan,
right,
even though the name. They've been in Memphis at the Pyramid in the NCAA tournament, and that's where Fran Fraschilla really got his coaching chops, winning there. I could have done without Bryson DeChambeau lecturing anybody about anything, but especially about principles. Now, with this lawsuit, it's brought in Augusta National and the Masters into the lawsuit. You just wonder if Augusta National, I bet they don't appreciate having to spend I know they got the money, but they don't want to spend the legal fees. They also don't want maybe any dirty laundry aired, and I hope Augusta digs in. If you're with Liv, you're not in the Masters. That includes Dustin Johnson. That includes Phil. And how funny would it be to see some of the old champs like Larry Mize in the Masters and Dustin Johnson not?
You're either with us or you're against us.
That's
I think
it.
that's
It's war.
Great. That's right. It's war. What we're keeping an eye on tonight, a lot, obviously Thursday night football. You can listen to that right here, Ravens versus Buccaneers on Sports 56. Also some basketball. The Grizzlies, they're going to take on the Kings tonight. That's a late night tip at 9 o'clock. What are you looking forward to, Brett?
I'm going to watch Washington State hosting Utah. The pollsters love Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Go Cougs.
I think you're absolutely right. Some other NBA games tonight, Clippers, Thunders, Mavericks, Nets, and Heat Warriors also play tonight. So should be a fun night in NBA and in the National Football League. But that's all the time we have today for Gabe Kuhn, who's down doing some football right now. For Brett, for Jay Morgan, I'm Bryant. Y'all have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.